Hi. Hi, Declan. Hi. Hello, friends. So I figured I owe those of you who are following along a little bit of a better explanation as to what I mean by neurological disabilities. So I have something that's considered a tiered diagnosis, which means all three of my diagnoses kind of interact with each other, and there's not one without the other. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody experiences all of these at the same time. It just means that mine are. So the three neurological conditions I suffer from is fibromyalgia, which affects all of the nerves in the body and creates a lot of pain. Essentially, those nerves act like you're in pain or struggling, and they start firing off, sending signals to your brain saying, ow, ow, we're hurting, ow, something's wrong. Nothing's wrong, but that's what my brain thinks is happening. And then next one is called dystonia. Now, dystonia is a little bit harder to describe. There's a more obvious clinical explanation, but I prefer to just explain what I go through, which is I will go through flare-ups. Now, there's the everyday stuff, which means I have certain muscles that don't lock up every day. They'll tighten up and clench, and they won't release. And it's not because I can't relax. It's a part of my brain that's saying, hey, we need to tighten up. We're stressed. We're under some sort of stress. We're tight. And it takes medication, muscle relaxers, and heat. I don't respond very well to cold. Cold makes me tighten up more and makes things a lot more painful. Hi, Jiggy. Hi, handsome. Yeah, and we still stay happy even through all of this. Yeah, we do our best to just be the best that we can because we have no other option, right? The other option is to just whoa is me, and we're not like that. Oh, don't touch screen. Thank you, cute boy. Thank you for helping. He wants to help push buttons on the screen. But yeah, so think of like Charlie horses, right? That one might get in their leg or like in your side, a stitch in your side. When you run, you get that cramp in your side. Think of that but magnified times 10 or 100, and it's all throughout my body. I'll have them around my eyes, my mouth, my throat. It'll affect the way I talk, the way I breathe, neck, shoulders, hands, leg, any muscle in my body that part of my brain is just going nuts. And then I don't have any, I've done a lot of scans and everything. There's no structural damage to my brain. Plenty of issues with my spine, but none to my brain. So that's why it's diagnosed as neurological issues, because it's a part of the brain that's just not working. They're cousins of like MS. Most people understand what multiple sclerosis is. Wow, if I can say that properly, or at least have an idea of what it does. These are cousins, basically. It's a similar part of the brain. Now, the last one I have is called functional neurological disorder. Now, what that is there's a part of my brain called the hippocampus. Now, the hippocampus controls everything. It controls speech, it controls emotion, it controls body function, it controls, links all of the systems of your body together, basically, right? If you think of it in like a computer sense, the hippocampus is like your motherboard. It's your main switch, right? Now, what happens is because my brain can't regulate very well and it responds to stress in so many different ways, what'll happen is that hippocampus, the software of my brain just starts glitching, just starts going crazy. So I'll have things that look like strokes, but it's not a stroke. There's nothing wrong in my head they've checked. I'll have episodes that are seizures, but they're non-epileptic, which means they're non-electrical, which means they won't respond to medication, and they're actually a lot harder, far harder to treat. Um, the seizures can go from 15 seconds to a minute, and they can be one and done, or they can cluster for hours. I think some of my worst clusters have gone for 3 to 5 hours straight, and I can't stop seizing. And I can't go to the hospital because there's nothing they can do because it's not epileptic. There's no medication. There's no seizure rescue medication that'll help in that situation. But it also controls pain. So it makes it so that I hurt in ways that most people wouldn't understand or even think possible, right? Because they put it to you this way: if you get shot, you go to the hospital, you go to the ER, right? If you're having appendicitis, right? Your appendix is about to burst, you go to the hospital, right? You go get checked out. You cut your finger off, you go to the hospital. What happens when the pain is exactly the same or to that equivalent, but nothing's actually wrong physically? That's what my brain's telling me. My brain's saying, oh, you've been shot. You are in massive amounts of pain. No, you're not. I'm not. But I am, you know? And that's the hard part. It requires the work of specialists to help treat these. I also have a lot of biological addictive tendencies. My mother was and still is an addict. Yeah, I got taken from her when I was a child, and then as a early teenager, the adopted people who adopted me actually gave me back to the state, and so I bounced around from foster home to foster home, and out of juvie and group homes and different things like that, residential treatment centers, from 15 to 18, and graduated high school and aged out. So there's a lot of trauma deeply rooted. Even sexual trauma. I was sexually abused in one of my foster homes for a year. Not everybody who experiences FND, functional neurological disorder, FND is what it's called for short, or dystonia, go through trauma and have problems, but a lot do. And so you have to find physical therapists that specialize in this. You have to find psychiatrists who understand all of the parts of the brain, and therapy. This requires very specific therapy. I go through EMDR, which is a way to help clear out traumas of the brain. But basically, I've been told to bury all my problems and my issues my whole life. And so my brain is just broken. My psyche broke. And now I can't control the normal parts of my body because I chose to bury it for so long. And now I have no option but to force myself to slow down to heal. I've worked since I was 15. I've taken care of my family. I've worked hard, and now I'm a stay-at-home dad, taking care of this beautiful boy, which I am so grateful for because he teaches me patience every day. He teaches me to be kinder. He teaches me to be more open and understanding and to slow down, not be so quick to judge, but to love. You know, it's so cliche, but this little boy changed my life the moment he was born. The moment I held him in my arms for the first time. I cane. I will need assistance walking at times. There will be times where I can't walk more than 200 feet is actually what is in my diagnosis, without some sort of assistance, like using a stroller or a cart, shopping cart, or a cane. You know, I need assistance because I keep falling, so I have to have something for balance. But for a long time I was angry. I was frustrated at this change of my life and everything that's happening. But now I just take it day by day because that's all I can do. You know, in find ways to try and earn money a little bit here and there. I can't work a normal job 9 to 5 because I can't go a day without having a seizure. I can't go a day without the muscles cramping up and locking up. There are times where I have to go to the hospital, where this past weekend I did, and they blew out my vein because they were teaching somebody. And so I had a whole bunch of fluid in my arm because they missed, and it happens. You know, you could be angry, you could be frustrated about it, or you can just say, hey, it's life. They were learning, and, you know, move on. There's no reason to be angry. There's no reason to be frustrated. It only makes the pain worse, actually. Trying to be happy, trying to focus on not my body. Distract myself, keep myself occupied with the boy, play with him, get on the floor and play and teach and grow with him. It makes the world of a difference. And any of those other stay-at-home parents who are out there who are struggling or feel like they're not heard or seen, I hear you and I see you. You guys are all warriors. And anybody who's struggling with functional neurological disorder, dystonia, or even fibromyalgia, anybody who's going through mental health struggles and has been abused in the past. I mean, June is Men's Mental Health Month. I'm an advocate for all men. We all have been told and taught the wrong thing, and only this toxic masculine nonsense that doesn't need to exist in society. We don't need to treat each other like this. We don't need to put each other down as men or teach each other that it's wrong to talk about our feelings. No, that's not true. It's only healthy. And the only way we can get better and grow is by talking and communicating. But yeah, this was a much longer video. I'm going to put this up. It'll only be available on my YouTube. So I will make posts about it across all my other platforms. So if you want to watch this, please go to my YouTube page. Thank you for all of my supporters who are following along. We'll find a way to get to the point where we'll get monetized and be able to help my family a little bit. But for now, every day is a new day. Every day comes with its challenges and opportunities alike. So you guys go out there and grab those opportunities, and I'll grab mine. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, y'all.